Good morning and welcome to Healing the Motherline, a 3-day journey of healing the maternal lineage and ancestral healing. I am truly honored for everyone who is able to join me live and for those who weren't able to make it and are viewing the replay. So welcome, welcome. I'm truly honored that you're here. Before we begin, I'd love to know where everyone is joining me from. Where in the world are you? Just type in the chat um, where it is that you live. And, this simple act of just connecting and sharing really helps us to feel connected, even though we're across time, across space. And I want to welcome you into this space where it's really all about healing things within your body, within your nervous system, perhaps some heaviness that didn't quite make sense for you in motherhood. Maybe it's a weight in your body or your heart that you couldn't fully name, or something that doesn't make sense. And perhaps you've carried emotions or responsibilities or pain that was never really yours or never really felt like yours. Perhaps you're here because of your relationship with your mother, or perhaps the absence of a relationship with your mother. And you're noticing that that has an impact on how you show up today. And it perhaps lives within you and your reactions in a deep and perhaps complicated way. Now, I'm just reading the chat here, and I've got people joining me from New South Wales, Victoria, Kucha. Welcome, welcome, New Zealand. Thank you very much. So, you might be finding yourself repeating patterns in your relationship or your parenting. And even though you're trying all the things, you've done all the things, you're trying the scripts, every strategy under the book, and something's just not landing, and you can't seem to break the cycle. Now, what I want to work with you is introducing you into systemic family constellations. And in this work, we step into what we call the systemic field. And it's a space where we recognize that much of what we carry, how we respond, how we act, that didn't start with us. The thoughts, the patterns, the beliefs, they're often echoes from our mother line and often from our ancestors. Perhaps it's we carry some of her burdens. Perhaps we carry her silence or her need for survival. And with this work, when we begin to see clearly what belongs to us and what doesn't, we can return what isn't ours, honor what's happened to our ancestors, and then begin to shift and have movement within our own life and release anything that doesn't belong to us. So, over the next 3 days, we'll explore your maternal lineage with depth as well as compassion, and will bring light to inherited patterns and gently begin to untangle what's ready to be released. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Caitlin, and I've spent the last 11 years supporting mothers and families as an occupational therapist and as a systemic family constellation practitioner. I am starting to dive a bit more deeper into ancestral healing. But beyond the professional titles, I'm also a cycle breaker mother. I embody all of the teachings and lessons and exercises that I'll be sharing with you over the next few days. And I've walked this path. I know what it's like to be caught in old patterns. I know what it's like to, despite having so much love and compassion and the desire to be doing things differently for your child, that is, I still felt triggered and I still felt lost in my motherhood. And with systemic family constellations, this work has profoundly changed how I mother, how I relate to my lineage, how I relate to my mother, and how I hold myself in motherhood, which allows me to be in more alignment with myself throughout my whole motherhood journey, throughout the emotional roller coasters of every new season that motherhood brings. And that's essentially why I've created Healing the Motherline for you. This is such a magical and transformative modality, and I just felt the calling to be sharing it with more mothers. Now, if any of my story has resonated with you, I want you to know that you're not broken and you're likely to be entangled and holding stories that don't belong to you. And I want you to know that healing is possible. And most importantly, you're not alone. Now, here we are in a room full of mothers who are ready to break the cycle, ready to do it differently for themselves, but also for their children. So, whether you're here to heal, to understand, or to simply witness what lives in your motherline, you're welcome. All of you is welcome, just as you are. So, let's begin. So, I'd love to know who is familiar with systemic family constellations. So, if you're new or if you've heard of it but never experienced it before, I'd love for you to drop a yes or a no in the chat. So, with systemic family constellations, we're working generationally. So, you can imagine that in our great grandparents' generation, there was probably war, there was probably a lot of things that happened that they just didn't speak about. So, things like same-sex couples, mental illness, affairs, children born out of wedlock, miscarriages, abortions. And but in that generation, so many things happened. That's just to name a few. But in that generation in particular, they just didn't speak about it. And some things we still don't speak about. What we find when we are doing constellation work is that those events stays like an energy in the system, in the family system, and also in the nervous system. And it keeps on repeating unconsciously through the generations. And it's not necessarily the same story or the same event, but it's the same pattern. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to do a quick exercise just to demonstrate how this works. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen where I've got a couple of teardrop images there, teardrop shapes, and you'll notice that they've got a point. So that is just to indicate the direction that these people are facing. For those of you who are watching the replay, I want you to imagine that you are standing in the position of you. And I will just do a quick demonstration of how this works. Now, what happens is there are events, there are circumstances that happen and they get passed on. So here represents the great grandparents. They've had something that has been passed on to them, and then they go and have their own lives and they're carrying their own burdens. And then they have their child. So here is their child. And what happens is, as children, sometimes pre-verbally, what we do is we say, often on an unconscious level, we say, dear parent. And I want you to imagine this, that your grandparent is saying to your great-grandparents, dear parent, I see that you're carrying a lot. And out of love, let me carry it for you. So what happens is, like I said, at an unconscious level, it gets passed down. And then the grandparents, they have their own lives and their own stories. And then imagine your parents. So they have their children and your parents. That turns around. I want you to imagine that your parent has said, dear parent, I can see that you're carrying a lot. And out of love, let me carry it for you. And then this is what happens. It gets passed down to your parent. And then your parent has a child, has you. Maybe you've got siblings and they have their own life. And then here you are. Now, I really want you to notice what happens in your body when you turn around. And again, this can happen pre-verbally. We all do this as children. Wait, let me turn it. Let me see if I can get another one. You won't let me turn it. Let me rotate if I can. Give me one moment. I don't know why, but this particular one, you don't want to turn around. That's hilarious. Okay. So now I want you to imagine that you are turning around. And I want you to repeat after me. Dear parent, I can see that you're carrying a lot. And out of love for you, let me carry it for you. And so, as a child, often we take on our parents' burdens, whatever we often feel like our parents can't manage, and we'll take it on. We'll make you feel better. And then here as mothers, you've got your own life. You've had your own kids. You have your own family. Now I want you to notice in your body how it feels for you to see what you're carrying. Maybe you notice heaviness. Maybe you notice tension. And often it doesn't make sense to us. We've got blockages in how we're responding. We have triggers that don't even feel like ours. And in constellations, what we're doing is we're putting back the order. Or Bert Hellinger, who's the founder of Constellation, he introduces what's called the orders of love, and I'll go into a bit more detail about this in a moment. But what happens is we carry this and we want to return it. And it's to that degree because everyone is a child to a parent. So in constellations, what we need to do is first support the parent. So again, noticing in your body as you look at you and all of the things that you have been carrying that don't belong to you. And now I want you to imagine that you turn around to your parents. And I want you to repeat after me. Dear parent, this is too much for me. I'll keep what's mine, and with respect, I'll give you back what's yours. So you take yours, and then you return what's your parents. And what we do is we then provide your parents with support, whatever it is that they need. So I want you to imagine that this represents, maybe a bit big, all the support that your parents needed. Maybe what they didn't get, whatever it is. I just want you to feel in your body what it's like to see your parent being supported, lots of support behind them. Notice in your body, now that you can see your parent has been supported. Want to group those together. Okay. And now I want you to imagine your parent turning around with all of the support that they have, turning to their parents, who now also have their own support. Again, whatever it is that they need, I want you to imagine that they've got it. And I want you to imagine that your parents are turning to their parents and saying, dear parent, this is too much for me. I'll keep what's mine, and I give back what's yours with respect. And it has to be with respect, because if we turn around and we say, F you, this is shit, what happens is it's a different type of energy and it doesn't shift. And often that can create more entanglement. So giving back what's the great parents. Now, again, noticing how it feels to see your grandparents turning to their parents with support, everything that your great grandparents need. And you might even feel lighter in your body just watching and viewing this simple representation. And I want you to imagine your grandparents turning to their parents and they're saying, dear parent, this is too much for me. And out of respect, I will take what's mine, I will keep what's mine, and I will return what doesn't belong to me. And part of this isn't even their great-grandparents' story. There was so much that happened even before them. So they say to their parents, dear parent, this is too much for me. I'll keep what's mine, and with respect, I'll return what doesn't belong to me. Now, I'll stop sharing my screen. And that just represents just how many of the reactions, the responses that we are carrying, they're actually expressions of what we call blind love. Unconsciously, we carry, because we're so loyal to our parents, especially as children, for survival, that unconscious loyalty means that what's been passed down from generations before, we hold it. Our nervous system holds it. And systemic work helps us to gently identify where these entanglements are and return what doesn't belong to us with love, not blame. Now I'm going to share my screen with you again. Now, the three principles of systemic and family constellations are foundational principles that we work with throughout the process. And I want you to notice in your body, as I talk about these three principles, that there might be one or more than one that feels a bit out of misalignment or perhaps out of balance within your family system. And this isn't about judgment, it's just about noticing. Noticing what arises, notice what resonates and what doesn't. So the first principle is belonging. So when we reject the mother, we reject life itself. And when we look at belonging, it's about every person within the family system having a place. And this can be hard for some people, especially when they've experienced trauma in childhood. Now, I really want to emphasize that this doesn't mean we're accepting harm or idealizing anyone. It's simply acknowledging that the life force that came through her, through your mother. Now, every woman in the family, no matter her choices or what happened to her or what she inflicted on others, every woman has a place. And when someone is pushed out or forgotten, that pain, it doesn't just disappear. Without acknowledgement, it gets passed on. The next principle is give and take. So in systemic work, we talk about love flowing best when it moves from a parent to a child. And when children try to give back too much or to carry their parents' pain, the flow gets blocked. Relationships become heavy when one person gives too much for too long. Now, balance is restored when we allow ourselves to receive and give from a full heart, not from obligation or from fear of rejection. And the last one is order. So healing begins when we honor the natural roles and order, as in who came first, within the family system. So when mothers are mothers, daughters are daughters, no one is left carrying what isn't theirs. And healing begins when every member of the maternal line is seen in their rightful place. No one above, no one below, and no one forgotten. So these three principles, they don't stand within isolation. They are intertwined. Now, the next part of today's event is experiential. So I invite you, if possible, to turn on your camera if you haven't got it on already. It's just during this part, because sometimes what can happen is big emotions can arise. And I want to make sure that those who are live, that I can support you, I can guide you if anything kind of big comes up for you. I may invite you to stand and move. So find a spot where your camera can stay on while you stand. And if it feels safe, um, finding what's the word I'm looking for? Just finding a safe space where you can move about. If not, that's okay too. We'll just work with whatever's available for you today. Now, if the environment you're in doesn't allow for this right now, come back to this recording and do this exercise. Take it slow and go gentle with yourself. I'll stop sharing here. And what you'll need is a piece of paper, pen to write on, and just a little bit of space. If not, I'll guide through how you can do this exercise without much space. Now, before we begin, I'm going to do a quick grounding exercise. I also want to remind you that this particular exercise I'm going to guide you through is about putting the logical mind aside and just noticing what comes up for you in your body, in your nervous system. So things that can happen that are naturally part of this process is your body may have sensations, they may have tightness, tingling. It can also bring up emotions and thoughts. There's no right and no wrong way. And again, we're just here to notice. All right, so we'll just do a quick grounding exercise that you can do either now or come back to it in the recording. So when you're ready, I want you to lower your gaze, and if it feels comfortable, closing your eyes. And here we're working with the systems. So I want you to take notice of the system that is closest to you, your nervous system. Become aware of your breath. It may be high in the chest or down low in the belly. It may be fast, it may be slow. No need to change, just notice. Our breath is a great indicator of change, and breath is a great tool to initiate change. And in this work, change is the only constant. Now I want you to expand your awareness outside of your physical body. You might notice some sensation, some sounds in the room. And then I want you to notice your family system, the family you've created, the family you were born into, and all of those in your family that came before you. Just noticing. Then I want you to expand your awareness out to the solar system, to the planets, to the stars, the moon, the sun, all in the cosmos. And we begin to realize just how small we are. Not small as insignificant, just small in size. And when you're ready, bringing your awareness back to your breath. Maybe it's changed, maybe it hasn't. Again, just noticing. Bringing awareness back to your physical body, noticing the contact points of the surfaces that support you, the ground beneath your feet, the chair, your back up against the chair that supports you. And when you're ready, just bringing gentle movement to your body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, coming back to the space, coming back to this moment. Now, as I mentioned, you'll need a sheet of paper, one that you can break. A post-it note will work just fine. A pen, and an optional resource is a small pillow or a big plush toy or cushion. This can help with just the integration. We're going to do a quick inner child constellation. Now, again, if you don't have the environment or the space to be able to do this now, come back to it later via the replay. So the exercise I'm going to guide you through helps to restore order and begin to repair any misalignments in the give and take between your adult self and your inner child. So I want you to know that there's no right or wrong way to do this. And there's no fixing, no editing. It's all about witnessing. All emotions, all feelings are welcome. Even numbness or resistance. Again, just noticing what's happening in your body as I guide you through this. If emotions come, let them. If nothing happens or you feel numb, just noticing that too. So we'll move slowly, allowing your nervous system to guide you. Now, what I want you to do first is on one piece of paper or a post-it note, write the word adult me with an arrow pointing up, because that's going to indicate the direction of where you're facing. And then on the second piece of paper, you can write child part or inner child. And what I want you to do is on the floor, again, on the inner child part, also drawing an arrow, an up arrow, so you know what direction they are facing. So here's what it'll look like. You can do it as simply as this, adult me and child. I want you to place them about 1.5 meters apart with the arrows, don't know how clearly you can see that, pointing to each other, as if they were looking at each other. Now, if possible, if you're here live, I'd love for you to put your camera on. This can bring up emotions, and I really want to ensure that I can support you if anything feels big for you. And I'll be inviting you to stand in a moment if your space allows. So perhaps finding a place where your camera can also be in view as you stand on these pieces of paper. If not, that's okay. We can work around it. Now, if you have that small pillow or cushion or that big plush toy, just have that close by, and we're going to place that beside the post-it or that piece of paper that says child part. So if you haven't already, I invite you to grab your 2 pieces of paper and place them on the floor and have them facing each other with about 1.5 meters distance between them. And when you've done that, I invite you to stand on the piece of paper that says adult me or current me or adult self. And as you stand there, I just want you to notice what comes up in your body as you stand in place of you. Notice if you can see your little one standing in front of you. Perhaps they're a certain age, perhaps they're a baby, maybe a teen, or maybe you've even gone back into utero. All are welcome. Just noticing. Now I want you to face your little one. And for anyone who is having a hard time seeing your child part, what can be really helpful is on another or a separate piece of paper, writing the word support and placing that behind you. And I want you to imagine that you have all of the support that you need, whatever it is, whatever that may be. Placing that support in behind you as you do this exercise. And that can be really helpful in allowing you to see your child part clearly. Okay. Now I want you to just notice, how does it feel? And do you see the child part, the little one? Do they see you? How does she look? What does her face look like? Now, I want you to say this out loud and tell your little one, I am you and you are me. I know you better than anyone. And I wonder what happens if you tell your little one, I see you. I am you in the future. Tell her, we made it. We survived. I don't know how, but we made it. I wonder what happens for you when you tell her, I am here. Tell your little one, you are safe now. We made it. We are safe now. Tell your little one, you are amazing. And I am never going to leave you. You're safe now. You can come live with me. I can be the parent you've been looking for. Let her know that I'm never going to leave you. We made it. We survived. You don't need to stay in that place anymore. And I am here when you're ready. Now, I wonder what would happen if you reach out a hand to your child part, inviting her to come live with you. You can let her know. You can come live with me. I can be your forever home. You're safe now. I know you better than anyone, and I'm never going to leave you. Now, if you notice that the little one wants to come closer to you or wants to be picked up, take that pillow or that cushion or that big plush toy, pick it up and bring it back to your adult self and stand in your adult self and give your child part a great hug. Let her know. Tell her you are safe now. I am here now. I've got you. Your child part has been working so hard to keep you safe, and she's really tired. Let her know you can rest now. Tell her, I'm the big one, you're the little one. You can rest now. We made it. Sometimes what can be really helpful is sharing parts of your life with your little one. So, like a movie, you could imagine all of the things that you have achieved, all that you achieved in childhood, in adolescence. Maybe you studied, maybe you made a career, maybe you had a family and that was your focus. Let her know all of the amazing things that you have done. Let her know you can drive a car now. Maybe you've done some traveling. And let her know you can rest now. I am the big one. I can see that's bringing up a lot of emotions. I know it's big. It's big. Let your child part know she's safe now. Mm. And when you're ready, not a moment before, I'll give you a bit more time. Just noticing in your body what it feels like to just hold your child part, knowing she doesn't have to work hard anymore, that she can rest. And just breathing in that integration of you and your inner child. Well, you've taken a very powerful first step today. You've created space by beginning to restore order and give and take. This particular exercise that we've just done can be uh, especially helpful for those who have been parentified. And what I mean by that is you as a child had to grow up faster than expected. Maybe you had to be your parents' confidant and support them emotionally, or perhaps your parents experienced divorce, or you had a parent who died young, and you stepped up and stepped into a role that was outside of what would be expected for a child's responsibilities. If anything has come up after that exercise, please contact me directly and I can support you in any way I can. I will let you know what's happening next. So, tomorrow, you'll receive an email with some guided journal prompts to help you deepen the insights from today's process. And then we'll go deeper in day 3. Just a reminder that in day 3, I've just made a slight shift in the session time just to allow for my Northern Hemisphere friends to attend and for the working mums to have an opportunity to attend live too. All right, well, thank you. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being here today. And go gentle, gentle on yourself. So if there's anything that's stirred up today, drink plenty of water, keep yourself hydrated. If your body needs a rest, please listen to it. It was only a very short constellation there, but if things have arisen for you, that means that there has been energy that's moving, and just be open and trusting of the process and some of the shifts. You may notice you are not as reactive after this. Maybe you have a different way of viewing yourself or viewing your mother after doing that particular exercise. Anyway, I again want to thank you for doing something amazing, something extraordinary. Cycle breaking is definitely not for the faint-hearted. You're so brave in just being here and showing up today, and I want you to know that I am so proud of you, and I can't wait to see you in day 3. Thank you so much. Bye bye.